I'm telling you, folks, the Heat's 20th overall pick, Kasparas Jakucionis, could change everything for the Miami Heat. Not only could he really impact the team this season, but he could change the trajectory in the future of this organization if he pans out. We'll look into Jakucionis and talk about the hype from Erik Spoelstra and everything in between. But we are having a sub battle on today's show. Tyler Smith, boo, here at Celtics Today said who can get the most subs on today's video. So, well, we're battling them. But you should subscribe anyway for daily Heat content. We talk news, rumors, player breakdowns, and hype segments as well. So subscribe for the full Heat package. So obviously Jakucionis, the 20th pick in the draft, got a lot of hype after that selection. From me, from others in the Heat content creator in reporter space, because a lot of people just believed he was going to be drafted in the top 10, certainly in the NBA lottery. I had him 6th on my NBA draft big board as a whole, not for Miami, and the entire draft. But he got off to a really slow start in Summer League. He really struggled. But I am not going to shy away from that because the intangibles are there, and I'm excited to see where he can blossom and grow. Full discrepancy, we are filming this video prior to the final Heat Summer League game, so I'm looking at the 3 stats from the California Classic games and the 3 games from the Summer League prior to the final one on Friday evening. Well, look at the stark difference. It was unbelievably ugly in the California Classic. Like, Heat fans were panicking. I understand why they would be panicking. I mean, those numbers are as bad as it gets in the NBA or let alone any summer league. And you're like, oh my God, this is someone that is supposed to change the franchise, 20th overall pick. Like, what are we doing here? But no, he put it together a little bit. Had a big game against the Hawks. Had 24 points. Had a solid game. I'm spacing on who they played. Oh, shit. I can't remember. But, the Pistons. They lost. But he's played pretty well. Had 15 points. We saw improvements from Jakucionis every single game he played. And it's not just that he got better in terms of ability to get to his spot and score, which he did, but we just saw so many little things, I should say, that really should just inspire you to believe that he is going to be a good player. His defensive rotations, his grittiness, his toughness, his effort, and that's the stuff that should have you excited. And here's my thing as well. Erik Spoelstra, while at Las Vegas Summer League, looking at the Heat squad, talking to some of the people, spoke very highly of Kasparas Jakucionis. That is good enough for me to be sold on him. And maybe I am naive, but Erik Spoelstra is one of the smartest basketball minds I think the NBA has ever seen. And I know he's going to probably prop up his guys, prop up his team in the media light, be more candid. But if he is going to tell ESPN that he is not concerned and he likes what he's seen, well, I'm going to believe him. And coming up here in a second, we're going to share the Erik Spoelstra quote that he dropped on ESPN. But I have faith in Kasparas Jakucionis. I want to know if you do. Do you have faith in the 20th overall pick? After a rough summer league period, do you think he is going to be solid for the Miami Heat? Type Y for yes or type N for no. All right, now on today's show, let's talk about Erik Spoelstra and what he had to say on the Heat point guard they drafted out of Illinois. Well, he said that he thinks that this was a really good teaching point for him. We were all encouraged by the mental makeup that he had and what he showed. Look, it was an uneven offensively in the California Classic, but there's no doubt about it. A lot of turnovers, some mistakes, but all the intangible, the defense, hustle plays, passing, all of that he was able to do while having some uneven offensive play. Sometimes that can take the confidence away from a player, but he still found a way to impact the game, impact winning. That's what our scouts really liked about him as a young player. They watched him a whole lot more than we did at Illinois, but it's a lot of those intangibles. I can't lie. Erik Spoelstra dropping this quote about Kasparas Jakucionis, it fired me up. It did. Like, Spoelstra is such a sicko to where he wants his players to bring in a Miami Heat uniform, right? Like, sure, is he going to need and appreciate someone who can give you 25 and 30 a night on efficient offensive display? Yeah. But we know Spo likes the guys that even when it can't go right for them, they're going to dig down deep, fight tooth and nail, claw their other opponent's eyes out to go get a win. And I think that's what Jakucionis showed at times during the Heat Summer League. He is a fiery competitor who will do anything to win. I just love, and I loved watching him compete in Summer League. Did the Heat Summer League team win? No, they were really bad, especially when you compare to how it went last year. But man, he was diving on the floor for loose balls. He was putting his body in harm's way. He was trying to set up his teammates. He was attacking the rim, trying to draw fouls and get himself to the charity stripe. He is just a player that does not handle losing well. He is a player and a person that it feels like hates losing more than he likes winning. And those are the type of players that I want on my basketball team. So when you have that mental makeup that Jakucionis seems to have, mixed with his talent and skill set, this is now a player that can really potentially elevate the ceiling of the Miami Heat over the next 5 to 7 years. And I'll also praise his defense a little bit. I think he defended way better than I expected him to do at Summer League. I mean, the way he was able to move his feet, stay in front of some of these other guards, come off weak side, get his hands in the passing lane, knock balls loose at times. He even had a couple blocks throughout the 6 games he played. Like, I was very surprised. I was very happy with what I saw from him on the defensive end of the floor. And I'll tell you what, if you would have told me after Heat Summer League that I would have been more impressed with Jakucionis defensively than offensively, I would have thought you were on a drug that was not invented in the United States right now. But guess what? That's where we are, and assuming that his offensive game is going to continue to elevate and get used to the NBA world, I think we're in a really good spot. Now, the question is with Jakucionis, what is his role going to be early on in his career? I just don't envision it being that large to me, and I think you could blame the Norman Powell trade. Not that I would not make the trade so I could play Jakucionis more, but before that deal, you were having the question of like, okay, Davion Mitchell or Cass starting next to Hero in the backcourt. Well, then Norman Powell comes aboard. It's like, well, you should probably start him considering how well he plays a starter in Los Angeles this past year. Well, then that now makes Davion Mitchell your lead guard off the bench. And it's just like, well, where is Kasparas going to play? Is he going to be the third string guard behind Davion Mitchell, Hero, Powell? Like, where's his spot going to be in the rotation? And I understand that it might be limited in year one. And that's kind of where, like, when we're talking about how Kasparas can really elevate Miami and change things, I think it's more or less in the future rather than this season. Like, I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. Like, I love what he'll bring to the table, but I just doubt that he'll get a lot of PT this season. Knowing how Erik Spoelstra coaches, he is going to put the players on the floor that he thinks is going to be able to impact and add wins to the column more than not. And although the Heat front office may want to go with their younger guys and have a youth movement, Erik Spoelstra, I'm not sure how much he's going to be on board with that. And as I'll reference back to again, with the Norman Powell trade, that was such a good deal to move off Kevin Love and Anderson to get Powell, but it's also a move that signifies you are going to try to be a little bit more competitive this season than I think we might have originally thought, which is not the worst thing in the world to me, because I actually like that starting 5 that we just referenced on screen here a second ago. But it just does limit the opportunity I think Kasparas has to grow and develop in the NBA this year. We might see Kaz more in the G League than the NBA this season, which I don't think is that big of a deal either because he's only 19 years old. And we saw that happen with Nikola Jovic early in his career. But I do think Kasparas is way further along in his development as a basketball player than Jovic was when Miami drafted each of them respectively. This is a long-term thing that I'm talking about. I think he's going to be absolutely awesome. You talk about the intangibles, his competitiveness, like his defense, his fireness. You just don't find his passing ability often either. Like, I understand that the turnovers are there because he is just not that strong in terms of handling the ball with a lot of pressure on him. and he'll make some boneheaded decisions at times trying to thread the needle on passes. But man, his facilitating and his eye for playmaking, you just can't teach that sometimes. You just simply can't. And before we round out today's show, I want you to drop your take. What are your year one expectations for Kasparas Jakucionis with the Miami Heat? Let me know your thoughts. It's an open-ended question, but I want to hear what you have to say. Get down in the comments and let me know. I'm not going to really give you mine, but I wanted to close the show with a couple things here. One, it's something that he needs to improve on early on. I just mentioned it. Kasparas needs to handle ball pressure better. That was one thing that stood out to me in the summer league, is that when he had a longer athletic guard or wing defender on him, really pressing him and getting into his business when he's bringing the ball up or just crossing half court, it threw him off a little bit. And he's not the most athletic in terms of his speed, so he's got to tighten up the handle and be more confident in his ability when being pressured to be able to break down his opponent. That will only come with more reps and time and more training with an NBA staff, so I'm not worried about that. But he's a really good passer, and he knows where to go with the basketball, and that's the thing that impresses me the most. Another thing that really made me happy was his mental fortitude of not being able to just go down the dumps and quit, but also he just speaks so highly of players that have come before him. And I just really believe in the person and really believe in this kid's mental toughness. He actually dropped a quote on Udonis Haslem that I loved and wanted to show. He said that he's the legend. He's been sharing his knowledge about the game. More than anything, it's about the mental part and mental approach to the game than anything skill-wise. And that's the part that I just will continue to hammer home on this episode. Like, you don't have to worry about Kasparas Jakucionis' mental makeup. You do not have to worry about his motor. He is going to come into work every single day and give you more than 100% effort. He is going to grind. He is going to work as hard as possible to become the best player he can possibly be for this Heat organization. Whether that is a guy that averages 8 points a game, but 8 assists and plays well with Tyler Hero, Bam, and Kel'el Ware, or if it's someone that is going to be required to take more of a step forward in terms of his ability to score, and he needs to average 20 points a game. I think he is going to try to adapt to any task thrown at him. He is not going to get down in the dumps if he has to start in Summer League or to start in the G League or anything like that, and that's what I love. I'm very excited about Kasparas, and I think he is going to change everything for the Heat long-term of this organization. That'll do it for today's show. Wanted to show the Heat's rookie some love here, and if you want more content and want to show us some love, subscribe to the channel. And if you're still watching and aren't subscribed, well, what are you waiting for? Join the channel. Also, got to take down Celtics today in that sub battle, so join the channel today.